you're right.
You know what I mean?
You become very intimate with all the shapes.
Like you can get lost and not know like what is what. But that's if there's time for that. But there's an easy, medium, and hard image to paint. So the easiest image to paint is the bird mural.
Yeah, that has almost big space.
The second most difficult is the noodles.
Yeah.
And then there's the map.
The map's so detailed.
That map took me a little while to draw.
Yeah, I can imagine. It took me a little while to draw.
I bet.
Yeah. Probably put more effort than I needed to, or maybe I put more detail than I needed to in that one.
Well, I think it's good because it's like the center and everything kind of works out. But like there's gonna be like some line work where I'm gonna buy some more brushes for them, some very small detail brushes, and every group is gonna have their own kit.
Okay.
So that they can clean their own brushes.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And have their own colors. I'm trying to be super organized. I got the scaffolding down there last night.
Wow. So much work.
So that's the thing. So each group has their own scaffolding unit plus a step bench.
Wow. It's amazing.
It is a lot of work.
It's so much work.
It's so much work. And yeah, you wouldn't do it unless you were like passionate about it. Owner, they've had this building since like 1973, and it used to be a movie theater. And like the story of Westchester, Howard Drollinger was kind of interested in saving these old buildings. I think he had a thing for theater. So he owned the Loyola Theater, but sold it. But of course, they still own the Paradise Theater. That's where we went in for our field trip. Morning, April. It's kind of like the edge of Westchester. I call it Chesterwood. With my students as much as I can, especially when they graduate. So this was an installation project I did with the artist graduate with Patsy Pitts. She was in the fine art department and she is a sculptor. And for her senior show, she did this huge giant sculpture of Lotus, and it was really well done. And that was last year. Called the Drollinger Shrew, and it's kind of like inspired by the Abraham Lincoln Monument. I don't know if you guys saw it on the main campus. It's a giant white sculpture. Anyway, she and I went to Malawi, Africa. She took that class with me, and we kind of connected on that during that course. So I was approached by the building owner to do a project for this building, and Patsy and I were in communication a lot, and she had told me that she wanted to do a project celebrating African American history. So we started to talk, and so we basically collaborated over the course of like 8 months to do this installation. So Patsy did this sculpture, and she made it everything by hand. She built the podium out of the same redwood material that Bessie Coleman's plane was made out of. And then I painted that portrait of Bessie Coleman. And then here's like a video footage of the story of Bessie Coleman, which is super inspiring. But yeah, it's not really related to our project, I just wanted to show it to you. And then another person at Otis, who's a fabricator, made a model and turned So we're gonna go upstairs now. Call it more like a commercial outdoor art studio. And so what you see here is our giant grids to transfer things to scale. And so it all depends on the project. Sometimes I just use the grid technique to transfer to scale. So I use transparencies a lot. So if I have a transparency, I might have a grid on it that I just drew with a Sharpie ultra fine point. This is like probably one of my most useful drawing tools because I can draw on, I can basically draw on plastic sheets and it dries immediately, and so when you draw and your hand goes across it, it never smears. So that's why I use it, and also it makes a really good line. And so sometimes I'll have a grid of a transparency and I'll put it over like a 8.5 by 11 sheet, and then I can put something up on the wall, whether it's a canvas or butcher paper like house patterns, and I can either draw it like that. If it's a huge giant project and I need to really make good use of time, I can do like a straight projection, and that's what I did with your mural. So like here's a column of one of the walls, and so I project it like that. Can you get those lights, Natasha? One more. I think they're like opposite, perfect. So like right here is the Noodle World mural design, and by the way, the owner of Noodle World is totally psyched because I had to take all the designs and get them approved by the property owner and the people who own the two businesses, and everyone's super happy with them. And thanks to Maura for refining all the designs and making them unified and everything like that. But the concepts are awesome, and everyone's really excited to see this work go up. So this is called a pounce machine, or an electro pounce machine. And that blue box is connected to the outlet, and what it does is it outputs an electrical current through this cord. And then what I did, and I kind of modified it, so if you buy one of these, well, you can't buy them at a retail store, but they sell them on Amazon, but they're like really expensive because they don't manufacture them anymore. So there's only like a limited number that exist out there. Like my mentor has two, and like he holds on to them, like he has an extra or whatever. I suppose if you're an electrical engineer, you could build one pretty easily because it's not that complex. But anyway, when I got mine, usually it has a stylus that's only a metal tip. And so it does the same thing, it burns holes in papers with the metal tip, but it doesn't make a mark. And when you're doing large giant murals and linking up multiple pounce patterns, you really need to see the lines so you can match them up, much like the practice wall that we did together. And so when like murals were really big in the 70s, because a lot of commercial artists would hand paint billboards, that's just how it was done. They figured that it's just a faster process. So what I do is I take a graphite pencil and I sharpen it at both sides, and I took this bicycle handle, which is rubber, and I filled it with steel wool. And so the electrical current goes into the steel wool, and then as one edge of the pencil is inserted into the steel wool, the current travels through the pencil all the way to the tip. And then the way it works is this is an aluminum screen, which is also a conductor. And so when I trace, it grounds out. The electrical current grounds out at every crosshatch in the screen. And while it grounds out, it makes a spark, like you can see. And at the same time, it's burning little holes in the paper. And that's how pounce patterns are created.
You really MacGyvered that thing. I don't know what you described.
Yeah, and the reason why is so like if this was a pattern and you rub the charcoal on, which we're all going to do to get together today, and you transfer the design to the wall, and then this paper is gone, you'll see the charcoal lines on the wall. But then I have this pattern, and I'm unrolling this, and I'm trying to line it up perfect. So I need to see the lines on top of the butcher paper to line it up with the lines that are on the wall. Does that make sense? So the Welcome to Westchester wall, that was 307 butcher paper patterns. For each one of these walls, you have 8, which is still kind of significant. So it's going to take you some time today. Yes.
How fast do you run through pencils?
I did this whole project with just one pencil. Yeah, just one pencil. So it goes by pretty quick. Does anybody want to try and draw on the door to see what it feels like? Come on down. Just draw in this space, because obviously, why aren't we going to be using this space? It's the door. Wait, and so do you have any metal on your hands? Okay, so you just draw.
I gotta hold it for a minute.
No, that works. And if you hold it for a really long time, what do you think would happen? It would start a fire, because then it would ignite the paper, because paper is flammable. So you can imagine tracing this whole mural.
Hello.
Yeah. So that's how that works. Yeah. So it's called an electropounce. All right. Can you hit the light really quick? So and then I just wanted to show you a little bit about paint. So this is all water-based paint, or acrylic paint, or latex paint. I transferred the designs to scale. So every group has their pounce patterns. Also, what you'll see at the wall is every group is going to have like their own scaffold unit. So you know, that's something that you guys are going to have to talk about in the group, is who doesn't mind the heights, because they are 10-foot walls, so you guys can figure that out.
So the next few steps are going to really require you guys to communicate really clearly with each other. So
Yeah.
for instance, we were talking about different skills are needed. Some people are going to be really comfortable painting. Some people are not going to be as comfortable with detailed things, perhaps. It's your responsibility to communicate with the other members of your group. And going forward, it's a time issue. So if you're holding back and thinking, I don't want to do this, or I really want to do this, I'm good at that, I'm not good at that, you need to just check in with each other and say, okay guys, I think I am going to take this or that. Just because it's at this point, everybody's, the group, if one person is sluggish or unhappy or confused, it pulls the whole group in that direction. And you feel like take responsibility for anything that's going through your head or anything you need to share with the group, okay?
Yeah.
And I think as we go forward too, there may be opportunities where, when you painted that practice wall, there are times where everybody's kind of clustered up, it's also, you kind of have to think about the group and not just your individual part of it. So if you find everyone's in a cluster, you need to step back and say, maybe I'm going to go in this section, or maybe if the scaffolding is here, what's the most efficient use of the space that we have, the things that we have, So just keep checking in with each other. Don't be afraid to ask each other a lot of questions.
And today, you definitely don't want to do something if you're unsure. And that's why we're here to help you. Because today, the most important part is getting your design onto the wall. Once your design is on the wall, it's mostly like a gigantic paint by numbers. And next week, every group will have like about every one of my students. I really do. I've been teaching for over 20 years, and I care about you as individuals and as a class. But we're at the point where like safety is the number one thing, and it's a real issue here. There's cones out here. There's scaffolding here. This is now a construction work site, and so a couple things from here on out. One, I'm totally apologize. I forgot to mention this. You need to have closed-toed shoes when you are here. Because if one of those rolls over your foot, and it's okay, it's my fault. I didn't communicate that. I've had a million things on my mind, so that's my bad. But from here on out, closed-toed shoes. You obviously want